Hi, this is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about planetary alignments. Hi, my name is Ruth Theresa with One Inspiring Woman. I'm an intuitive psychic medium here in the Sugar Land area. That's just outside of Houston. I work with my angels and guides to assist my clients in many areas of their lives, to bring them special messages from loved ones who have passed, to dialogue with their angels for guidance into their own situation, or to assist them with their own psychic abilities. If you like my content, please make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. That's right. Today we are talking all things Jupiter in retrograde for 2022. So this is going to be a very interesting retrograde because Jupiter is going into retrograde in 2 different signs. And so it's going to give each of us kind of their own feelings or kind of their own energy. And it kind of isn't necessarily bad. Jupiter in retrograde is never a bad thing. It just kind of feels like we're stagnant or not moving or not growing or not moving towards something. So it's not necessarily bad or horrible. It just kind of makes us feel like, what's going on? So that's kind of the energy that we're going to be dealing with. So let's get you some dates and hopefully figure out a little bit more about Jupiter in retrograde. So Jupiter enters pre-shadow energy where it starts to slow down May 4th in the sign of Pisces. And then it backs up enough that it actually enters the sign of Aries on May 10th. Jupiter goes full retrograde on July 28th in the sign of Aries, and then it actually re-enters the sign of Pisces on October 27th, and then on November 23rd it actually leaves full retrograde and goes into post-shadow energy, and that is all done in the sign of Pisces. And then when Jupiter leaves retrograde on February 14th, it leaves its post-shadow energy in Aries. I know, it's like, oh my goodness, it's a lot of information, but it's not necessarily hard, and I will give you a listing below of all the dates and the information so you can understand a little bit more about it, because it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just kind of like, this is what we're dealing with. So let's talk about it, and let's talk about Jupiter in retrograde in general. Like I said, Jupiter in retrograde is not necessarily a bad thing. It really is one of those planets that affects a lot of us, but it doesn't really kind of hurt anything. It's kind of easy, kind of not so strong. For the most part, it will feel like we're a little bit stagnant, but that's about it. So that's not like, oh my gosh, horrible. It's just kind of like, I feel like I'm ready for some changes. Now, Jupiter in Aries is going to be kind of more intense. You're going to have a lot of personal value things come up, like how do I value my time? How do I morally get through this decision? What is the best decision for me? May not be the best decision, I think, for my family. So there's going to be a lot of moral dilemmas coming up when it's in the sign of Aries, and it may make you feel like, I'm not ready to make a decision. I'm really not ready to make a choice between this and that. Really stressful. And it's kind of going to kind of give us some new options of life path energies, kind of like, what is the perfect life path for us? Where do we want to go? Kind of what do we want to change? What do we want to modify? Aries has this very fiery kind of brash energy of like, let's just go, and let's not worry about it. Let's just make some changes. Now, completely opposite of that, we have Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Pisces, which is all about flowing, and it's going to be kind of making us feel like it's restoring our faith in mankind and in ourselves. It's going to kind of make us feel one. It is this rare opportunity to kind of really believe in ourselves, and you're going to feel like, wow, I really believe in myself. What's coming up next? How is this coming in? It's one of those, it has a great way of changing our compassion. Things that we normally would be like, don't really care about. Now, with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, we're going to be like compassionate to everybody. Our intuition is going to be on overdrive. Also meaning our claircognizant energy is going to be like off the charts during this time frame, during Pisces. It's kind of like, wow, all of a sudden this is really interesting. And this is a great time to kind of reevaluate opportunities, our thinking, our upgrading. All of that energy is a really great time to do this and kind of bring in this great energy for us. Let's talk about some key dates that are going to be changing us as well. These are some key aspects that will be affecting Jupiter in retrograde. So the first one is August 18th, and we have Jupiter and Venus in retrograde. And this is going to be kind of harmonizing its energy, kind of expanding our hearts and our wallets, and kind of what do we want to put our money into, where do we want to donate our money, where do we want to donate our time and energy as well. And this is going to kind of be opening us up. Don't get too lazy during this time frame, that around that middle of August time frame. So kind of keep things going and keep things moving. It may make us feel like, oh, everything's okay, but it really isn't. We need to keep in motion. The next one is September 1st. We have Mars and Jupiter in retrograde connect with a very, very opportunistic kind of sextile, kind of like, wow, we're going to push each other and kind of amplify our energy. And this is about giving and expansion and our passions. Where do our passions lead us, and where do our desires want us to go into? That is going to be a really great one, and it's going to push us into making some good changes. The next one is on September 2nd. Mercury in Libra forms a opposition with Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Aries. And this is all about expanding our minds and our belief systems, kind of like opening up or putting a new pair of glasses on, like, oh my gosh, now I can see the world differently than the way I have in the past, and differently than the way I have in the past of my life, kind of like where I've seen things, and kind of just opening that new door. And the next one is September 26th. We have the Sun in Libra forms an opposition to Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Aries. And this is all about expanding our egos. And this is going to be a time where we're going to kind of everybody's going to kind of have that little bit of a narcissistic touch to us, and kind of a little bit stronger than normal. People that are normally narcissistic will be off the charts during this time frame. And this is going to make people feel like I need to take my own. It's my time to shine. It's kind of like I get the limelight, and you're going to see that a lot of people like stealing the limelight, or kind of stealing the headlines from other people, kind of like, oh, you can't be important, only I can be important. You're going to see a lot of that going on. October 1st, we have Venus in the sign of Libra forms opposition to Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Aries. This is all about expansion of our money and our love. Like, who else can we love? Who else can we do? And this is going to be kind of bringing that karmic kickback for a lot of people. And kind of this one's going to be, I would say, people that you know that you should have paid money to, but you didn't. There's times where it's like you took extra time at your doctor's office or your therapist or with your psychic. It happens, and you didn't pay for that time, or you didn't allot or pay for that. And this is kind of coming back in that time to really pay them back, or kind of pay back that energy, or you're going to feel like you really have to, because it's all about your karmic harmony of kind of being in balance with both your love of what you do and your healing yourself, but also the expansion of your money as well. Next, on October 2nd, we have Mercury in the sign of Libra forms an opposition to Jupiter in Aries, or Jupiter in retrograde in Aries. Both of these are in retrograde. So we have Mercury in retrograde and Jupiter in retrograde. And this is going to be kind of dropping the ball on kind of projects, kind of like, I thought I was on top of all of this, but communication isn't coming through. This isn't an easy aspect. This is going to be, for a short period of time, kind of a little bit harder of kind of like, how do I do this, or how do I communicate, or I'm having problems hearing back from other people, or giving them my true insight of what I think the project requires or needs to be modified into. And so it's a great way to kind of really take a look at your communication and what would you like to expand in this area. Our next date is on November 16th. We have Mercury in the sign of Scorpio, trine Jupiter retrograde in the sign of Pisces. And this is really allowing us to explore and understand kind of like our subconscious desires of what do we really, really want, the stuff that we really want, but we're almost afraid to say it. We're almost afraid to talk about it. We're almost afraid of like, if I say it, it might not come true. This is going to be pushing that energy. The last one is on November 20th, we have our sun in the sign of Scorpio, forms a trine with Jupiter in Pisces. And this is all about giving us that drive to move forward, that drive to kind of find what matters to us and push that agenda forward. This is going to be really giving us a great aspect of pushing this energy forward and what's coming up next for us. One of the things that I will tell you is that while Jupiter is in retrograde, it's one of those, this is a really great time to kind of like push your luck, kind of pushing what you really want. And this is kind of like our best way to kind of like choose our life path during this time frame, and kind of like pushing out what we really, really want in our lives, pushing out of our comfort zones, changing our voice, changing what we really want to hear. And not really just what we want to hear, but the things that we have to hear so we can make some changes and upgrade. Jupiter goes into retrograde annually. So this is something that we deal with all the time, this energy coming in. But this is a really great time to kind of push what we really want in our life. And what is it that we want to bring into our life path more than anything else? What is it that we want to change in our life path? And kind of upgrading our time together. But then also realize that this is a great time to kind of step back and take some time for yourself and kind of like, what do I require upgrading? What do I require getting out of my comfort zone with? So this is a great time. Let's talk a couple about kind of like who it's going to be affecting. Our cardinal signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. These are going to be kind of feeling like the world is growing and evolving and things are changing and modifying. They're going to feel that more than anything else. Our mutable signs, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, are going to be kind of like becoming like this emotionally rich or abundant person, kind of like feeling our emotions, kind of feeling how we feel with things and allowing that to bring in energy to us. Our fixed signs of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius are going to be feeling this the least amount of everybody, but it's like all of a sudden it's going to be changing. They're not going to feel anything, not going to feel anything, not going to feel anything, and then all of a sudden like, whoa, here it goes to change us. So it's a great time to really be in understanding of what's going on and how things are going to be changing and modifying. Let's get us some angel cards and get us a little bit deeper insight into Jupiter in retrograde in the sign of Aries and Pisces. So I've got a couple of them in the back kind of popping up. Playfulness. Normally Jupiter by itself is a great planet and it's got a lot of luck going on in it. This may not feel as playful during Aries, but it will in Pisces. So just know that playfulness is coming back. It's not going to be there forever. It's going to be coming back in this energy as well. The next one is celebration. This is a great time to celebrate, kind of making some new changes, finding a new life path. Where is this going to take me in the future? Where is this going to take me in what I want to do or how I want to modify my life, or how do I want to change what's going on already? Our next one is all about emerging energy. Like I said, this is going to be affecting your kind of your claircognizant gift, your intuition, kind of where do I want to go? And that's going to be emerging. And it may kind of make you feel like, oh my gosh, this is too much. And then it'll come back. And then kind of like both of y'all will move together forward into this. So it's one of those, it's going to be changing a lot of people. Our last one is romance. Like I said, this is a great time with Jupiter in the sign of Pisces to kind of fall back in love with yourself, kind of allow your energy to kind of take over, allow this energy to kind of make you believe in yourself again. And this is a great time to do this and kind of really feel that. Like I said, you're going to feel it and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm not ready for this. And then you'll move into it and you're like, oh, I've been here before. I know exactly what to do or how to deal with all of this. It is a great time to really open up to this energy. My last card, I was a bit ready to finish, but it said one more. Meditation. This is a great time to meditate, kind of get in your own understanding of what you would like to upgrade, what would you like to change or modify around you It's a great time to do that. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.